Yo, what it is, everybody? Thanks for tuning back into another episode here on the Speedbug channel. Again, making another video, not so much me doing a lot of talking, but again, my mouth with my injury is getting a little bit better, so now I can resume back to talking. As we can see, the Trans Am is here, and a lot of you have been asking for an update on the Trans Am and the motor progress and stuff like that. So I will give you that. Everything is all in. I am just waiting for one specific coupler to go from the new Fast Toys lid to the new throttle body. We did end up going full 102, and it did take a pretty good long length of time to actually 100% install. Anyone that has worked on F-bodies or 4th gen F-bodies know how much of a pain in the ass they are directly underneath the hood. And bottom line, it just sucks. It just pretty much just sucks ass to do any of that. So majority of the people, there has been a few people that I've seen do the 92, excuse me, not the 92, the 102, but a lot on Camaros. Now, I know it's the same car, but for whatever reason, it all happens a lot more on Camaros. I only saw one on a Trans Am. Any other one that I've also seen installed was always, and they were always installed with the engine out of the car. So to actually install the 102 intake manifold on this engine, I actually had to lower the subframe because it actually would not fit. Other individuals that say they've got it in, well, I don't know how they did it. We were fighting with it for a few hours, and it just couldn't be done nonetheless. Then you couldn't even tighten the bolts because obviously my cowl or anything is not trimmed or cut or anything like that. So you still have to tighten the intake manifold and the fuel rails and everything else like that, because you can only put so much in there before it can't actually be tightened and get a wrench in there. To show you guys the least of how tight it actually is, give me a second, I'll grab a light and I'll show you. So you could see that is the cowl and there's the throttle cable, and that's it. That's all you got. So, but again, it was needed to go this route with the massive heads and massive cam that I ended up putting it in this thing a while back. Was I choking it down? It did have an LS6 intake manifold, but it had a very small throttle body. So this thing loves to rev past 7,000 RPM, which we all know is very high for an LS1. Yes, this is still a Gen 3 motor. This is not a Gen 4 or Gen 5, but we're making some real steam here, and I like to do things that a lot of people tell me that cannot be done, or challenge or go right on that limit to see exactly where and what it can be done, because I think it's kind of fun. It's nice and fun trying to find out new things. So I'm probably only going to pick up maybe 5 or 10 foot-pounds of torque actually with this thing, but I'm thinking we're going to probably end up picking up about 20 horsepower or so. And like I said, this thing is an LS1, and it makes well over 500 wheel to the back tire. And that's also even on a Mustang dyno, not a dyno jet. So everyone told me that it couldn't be done, even with the factory water pump. Well, damn it, I did it, and it is fully on 93, no E85 or anything like that. So, again, now it is the 102 here. Again, just waiting for that coupler. The billet fuel rails and stuff like that, there's, no obvious performance gain or anything like that, but I just did it for aesthetics. Huge injectors, lots of timing, huge heads, gigantic camshaft. If anyone wants to know the camshaft that I actually have in this car, it is an MS4. You do need aftermarket heads to run an MS4, so if you buy an MS4 and try and do it on your stock heads, you will have piston to valve clearance issues, and it will not work. But it will be awesome, and this thing is even going to be faster and louder. And then, of course, after all that is done and it's tuned, then the rear end is coming. I did end up buying a Mosier 9-inch, Ford 9-inch rear end for this thing, so I could finally go and launch this thing. Believe it or not, I did all of this power and everything on the factory 10 bolt in the back. Yes, I know it's on borrowed time. I don't know how it did not break, especially with those drag radials. But again, I never really launched the car as well ever since then. So Now we can actually go launch the car 3,500, 4,000 RPM and not worry about that. We're changing all of the bracing. It does already have all the subframe connectors and everything. Changing the torque arm location, mounting brackets and things like that. So we should be Gucci and ready to go to the track. And I have no doubt in my mind with a good hook and things like that, I would definitely bet to say that this car is a high 10-second car, no question about it. Also, given the fact of the calculations that I've done and also seeing what other people has done with significantly less amount of power in a Camaro or a Trans Am. But again, it's not about the numbers on how fast it actually runs. It's about how much fun I actually have with the car. And I still love this damn car. I just hate working on it. But I wanted to give you all a progress update with this. Just waiting on that coupler. It will then go back to my good friends over at Lashway Tuning to get this thing tuned up. And then over to my other good buddy to have the rear end installed. We're doing those all on lifts because it's a pain in the ass to do this on the ground. But that's a good Trans Am update. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Stay tuned. And yeah, after that, I mean, this thing's making some steam. And this thing makes quite a bit of power for what is actually coming out of it, and it's an NA motor, so it's well going to rev past, you know, probably looking about 7,200, 7,300 RPM, so she's going to make some steam. So that's going to wrap it up here for today's video. I hope you guys like this with the Trans Am update, and stay tuned for some future updates on the Trans Am, and just bad joker. Peace.